It's so much quieter these days without everyone around. Not that I'm pining for your return, you understand. I have my sources, and I know that each and every one of you is doing well and keeping busy with your endeavors. Meanwhile, I'm left with a surplus of free time and the question of how to make the most of it. What about you? Any plans for the immediate future? I hope you weren't thinking of asking me for advice. Though if you are open to suggestions, I might have one for you. You've fought bravely and selflessly, helping those in need and saving our star from unimaginable threats. For your deeds, you've been hailed as the champion of Eorzea and a host of other incredible things. But why not put those titles aside for a while? Acquit yourself as a simple adventurer again and travel the world in search of wonder. With so many exciting places to choose from, it's hard to narrow it down. But I believe I have the perfect destination in mind. Thavnair. That's where you should go next. I doubt you were able to squeeze in a proper tour of Radzat the last time you were there. What with the burning skies and rampaging monsters and so forth. And I'm sure Vritra would be pleased to see you. Then there's the bounty itself. The Empire's presence in the region was always a deterrent to exploration. So if you've a mind to sail that sea, now's your chance. Just think of all the new experiences you could have.
Tell me, have you been to the ruins beneath the waters of the Bounty? As the bearer of Azem's crystal, you may consider your duty to see at least that much.
Oh, I know that look. That's an adventurer ready to take on the world. In anticipation of an occasion like this, I was planning to gift you a new set of traveling clothes, but it's still a work in progress. Shouldn't take much longer now, though, so sit tight and I'll have the last few bits sewn up before you can finish another cup of tea. Stitch in here and trim in there, knot the threads with love and care. Just a little more to go. I'm sure you're still brimming with excitement. I am one with the needle. See how the fabric surrenders to my whims. Don't worry, I'll make sure the lining has plenty of pockets for all your little treasures. I swear adventurers are worse than children when it comes to hoarding every feather and leaf and animal hide they come across. Oh, we mustn't forget the waterproofing. Gods forbid you forget to disrobe before plunging into the sea, or a river, or a piping hot bath. Ah, you're awake. My apologies. I do get a little carried away with my sewing. You seem awfully cheerful. Pleasant dream? Or are you just looking forward to the next chapter of your grand saga? Either way, I promise to provide you with new apparel, and so I shall. If you'll accompany me to the Diamond Forge, we can put the finishing touches on your outfit. Shall we?
Please, Ashal, please! You must let me have that treasure map!
What's all this about?
My mother and father were slaughtered by monsters. My baby sister, still too young to fend for herself. Can you spare us no kindness?
So, you hope to find your fortune? And what? You expect me to surrender my wares for pity's sake? What have you to offer in payment? As I thought. Come back when you've more than rags to your name. This is no mere treasure map. It is a guide to the vaults of Arzadal III, one of the great satraps of Radzat Han, and a direct descendant of Alzadal Khan.
A map to Alzadal's legacy?
So he says. A fake, I'd wager.
This is no fake. The parchment is marked with an arcane glyph of passage. You may find the ruins hidden in the bounty, but you won't be setting foot inside without this in your possession. A priceless artifact it is, discovered amongst the rubble in the aftermath of the final days, and lovingly restored by yours truly. This map is the key to fabulous riches, and I'll be the king of fools to simply give it away. Be glad I am no such king, boy. Your scrawny-eyed had never return with that treasure alive.
Oh, cruel fate! Why must you tempt me with wealth I am powerless to claim? How I shall envy the one who purchases that precious map! Whatever they pay will be but pittance against the golden hoards they stand to uncover.
What of you, sir? Fighting man of your stature would surely relish the challenge of recovering Alzadal's lost fortune.
A fortune, you say?
If I had but the strength to seize that treasure, my starving sister would never want for food.
I'll take it. Will this cover the price? Well met, my friend. Someone is dressed for adventure. But why Favner of all places? Knowing you, I suspect there's more to your plans than sightseeing and shopping. Ruins beneath the bounty. Curious. And here I've acquired a map to just such a site.
With that sale, I do believe I've earned the rest of the day off. Thank you for your patronage, sir, but if you'll excuse me.
You needn't mind us.
And now I've fleeced one of the heroes of the final days. Pray the sisters were looking elsewhere.
This map may or may not be genuine. Either way, we'll need a ship to find out for sure. Lest you misunderstand, I seek the treasure not for myself. If such a fortune truly exists, then it could help ease the struggles of those who lost their loved ones in the final days. I hope to do for Thavnir what you and Alphino did for the Alamegans when you recovered the Mad King's trove. Come now. You know Alphino needs little encouragement when it comes to recounting the tales of your shared exploits. Speaking of precocious lads, that boy in the bazaar was clearly an accomplice of the merchant. Suppose his role was to draw the attention of the crowd and add weight to the merchant's bold claims. Transparent act for the most part. It was not all mummery. The need to provide for his sister rang true enough. Thus, if some portion of the profits end up in that waif's pockets, then I will consider it money well spent, whether the map leads us to the vault or not. You are coming along, yes? I thought as much. Now, let's see about securing a vessel.
Ah, Urgica, my good man. Would you be so kind as to...
Oh, isn't this a pleasant surprise?
I wish you had sent word ahead. I thought I was having visions for a moment there.
Slow and steady. Raha and I have been compiling old records of the students' activities. We were able to locate several accounts in the archives of Numenon, but the bulk of our documents was lost along with the Isle of Thal.
But what brings you to the Annex, my friend? Surely you haven't come all this way just to watch us shuffle dusty papers around? The treasure vault of Alzadal III.
And you're looking for companions to join you on this expedition. I would dearly love to accompany you, of course, but I'm afraid I'm committed to another task, on the subject of which I had hoped to ask for your assistance. Then again, it's not so urgent that it can't wait until you've returned. You should go, Raha. I'll stay here and mind the shop, as it were.
Are you sure? I'd hate to leave you short-handed.
I'm sure. Just try to be back before too many moons have passed.
Well, I guess we're off on another adventure already. Have you asked anyone else to come along? Then might I suggest we invite your Stola? Ever since the Scions disbanded, she spent most of her time cloistered within the Great Google Library, hoping to piece together a method to traverse the rift. It would seem, however, that whatever wisdom she sought there was not to be found. She arrived in Charlian the other day. We spoke briefly before she began her search of Numenor. Considering what you've told us of Alzadal's extraordinary feats, I do believe your Stola would be more than interested to hear what you have to say. Splendid! Then let us head to the archives at once.
Wait, before you go. I have another potential member to volunteer, if you've room to spare. Urianger. He sent the students a request for materials, you see. Treatises on the architecture of treasure vaults and the like. From what I can gather, the Loperites wish to build their own vault for the people of Aetheris to explore, and are looking for inspiration to help make it a memorable experience. So, why not take Urianger with you? Let him study Alzadal's legacy firsthand.
None can deny the benefit of seeing something with your own eyes. If our expedition leader has no objections, I say we extend Urianger an invitation once we've spoken with your Stola.
Safe travels, you two. But don't forget, I'd still like your help with that other matter I mentioned.
Right. Then it's off to the library. I've never known your Stola to doze off in the middle of research before.
Close my eyes for one moment. Ow! How long have you two been here? Something to that effect. I must have been studying for 2-3 days straight before exhaustion finally claimed me. As you know, I've been researching ways to travel from the source to one of its reflections. Well, looking for hints at least. I don't expect to find a simple set of instructions tucked away in some dark corner of the library. So I've been skimming through the stacks, hoping to uncover even a partial mention of any similar feats in the past. A means to travel between worlds exists, and you can be sure I will find a way to employ it. So I promised Runar, but 'twould seem I've set myself a nigh impossible task.
You needn't be so hard on yourself. The leap I made with the Crystal Tower was not achieved in an afternoon. It was the culmination of a collective effort spanning generations.
Oh, you think me discouraged? I assure you, 'tis quite the opposite. A daunting challenge and the time to sink my teeth into it. I feel like a fresh-faced student again.
A scholar in her element.
Indeed. Was there something else you wished to ask of me? Al-Zadal is no minor figure in Harnish history, and much is known about his family. But this is the first I've heard of a descendant surviving a trip to another world. If those tales are true, then he may have left behind some clue as to how it was accomplished. An invitation to delve into one of the world's lingering mysteries. As if I could refuse. And whence do we embark upon this expedition?
Akyali, by ship. But before that, we thought to extend an invitation to Urianger as well. He was in Thalmazane, last we heard.
Then by all means, let us recruit him, and be on our way.
Ah, our illustrious champion. Cloaked in the mantle of the common explorer, fame set aside in thy pursuit of simple adventure. I am told a new expedition is in the offing. He left to attend to some personal errand, but should be returning ere long.
You've been keeping yourself busy, I trust?
True to our plan, Thancred and I embarked upon a pilgrimage of sorts, with an eye for gauging the state of those lands through which we passed. Travels were interrupted, however, by a request for aid from our befurred lunar allies. As you may recall, the Loperids have been seeking new purpose for the moon, another role through which it might serve to benefit mankind. The Forum hath been working to advise them in this endeavor, but I return to offer mine own counsel.
And this has what to do with treasure vaults, exactly?
Ah, you have learned of my predicament from Mistress Kryl. I know not whence they acquired such knowledge, but the Loperids now stand convinced that adventurers delight in treasure hunts. Thus, with their newly built wonderland of riches and mystery, do they hope to entice all manner of daring delvers to the moon. So earnest and innocent was their desire to bring joy to the world that I found myself powerless to refuse them my cooperation. But what of you, my friends? Why are you come to Labyrinthos? Fascinating. This is indeed a most fortuitous opportunity. I should be honored to accept thine invitation. How long hath it been, I wonder, when last our actions were not impelled by fate or desperation?
Aye. Though I cherish the Scion's accomplishments, 'tis pleasant to not have the weight of the world upon our shoulders for a change.
Counting Estinian, we number 5 now, yes? Without knowing what traps or perils await unwary feet, we may be wise to refrain from recruiting others.
I agree. Between us, we should have the skills to handle whatever situation may arise. Shall we be on our way?
What, no time to spare a word for the grizzled old bard?
All is well, I trust?
A wasted trip, I'm afraid. I'd hoped to catch up with a former mentor while you parleyed with the rabbits, but it seems our paths were not to cross. Having an astrologian beside you on the road is surprisingly convenient. And it doesn't hurt that he's making strides with this light-hearted banter. In any case, as we made our way around Ilzabard, we saw that much of the continent was in various stages of chaos. A certain amount of disorder is to be expected. The final days are over, and the people no longer have a common threat binding them together. That's the thing with these fledgling troubles, eh? You need to keep an eye out, lest they mature into full-grown headaches. So, for what reason have so many esteemed personages seemed fit together? Beneath the waters of the Bounty, you say? I see you've already stolen away my traveling partner with the promise of unexplored ruins and scholarly glory.
Nay, 'tis not for mine own indulgence, but rather the fulfillment of my commitment to the Loporrits.
Ah, of course. And if you have Estinian rounding out your group, you'll likely have all the members you need.
Feeling left out? I could put in a good word for you, if you like.
We may have been released from our obligations, but I'll never be free of that merciless wit of yours, will I? In all seriousness, 'tis best I sit this one out. Too many former scions consorting with one another might be seen as a cause for concern in certain quarters. I'll return to my usual reconnaissance and scout out the situation in the Far East. Feel free to share if you come across any interesting revelations. Till we meet again.
Shall we also hasten our departure? Sir Estinian will wonder what hath become of us.
What have we here?
'Tis not unlike a Hunnish alchemical furnace in design.
Well, there is one way we might find out.
Stop! You mustn't touch it.
Vritra! Oh, my apologies. Should I continue calling you Varshan?
You may address me as you wish. My nature is no longer a secret. Still, this is not a setting I imagined for our reunion. Surely you've not entered these ruins as common looters.
Would that we could deny your accusations, but I fear you're not far from the truth.
Great Vritra, might we beseech thee to explain the nature of this strange contrivance?
It was crafted by our alchemists at my behest, for the purpose of sealing something away.
You and I will speak later.
Not the time for frivolity, my friend. Not the time.
This something of which thou speakest, might it be some manner of threat?
Perhaps I should simply show you. I have lifted the seal, if only for the moment, by an authority only I possess.
A planar fissure?
No, my friend. Small though it may be, this is a functioning gate into the void.
I must admit, I am deathly curious to know how a void gate came to be hidden in the depths of these ruins.
To tell that tale, we must first peer far to the south, and even further into memory. An age 5 millennia passed when the Algan Empire sent an invading force to the shores of Meracidia. The southern people rallied around the commanding figures of Bahamut and Tiamat and fought fiercely to repel the would-be conquerors. With Bahamut's defeat, however, the tide turned against them. Desperate to seize any advantage, the Mercidians resorted to summoning primal entities. In response, Emperor Zande forged a covenant with the Cloud of Darkness, sovereign among the all-devouring denizens of the Void. Thus bolstered by icons on one side and Voidsent on the other, the two armies clashed in a battle of unspeakable carnage. So much death, so much loss.
I consider myself well versed in that period of history, yet you speak as one who witnessed it happen.
Indeed, I did. I heard Tiamat's roar of defiance and sped toward that war-torn land. Along with my sibling, Ashdaya. We dragons are not male or female as men are wont to classify, but elder sister is the closest a mortal tongue can come to describing what she meant to me. I was the last of our brood to hatch, and Ashdaya cared for me where my sire could not. Thus I was with her when Tiamat roared. I was with her when she journeyed south, and I was with her when she fought against the Void-sent hordes. Yet no matter how many of their vile fiends we cast down, more rose from the abyss to take their place. Faced with an unwinnable war of attrition, Ashdaya risked her all on a final gamble. She plunged through the Void Gate itself to strike at the root of their strength. I tried to follow in her wake, determined to lend what aid I could. But even as I came upon Alag's glittering tower, I saw the rift close behind her. And Ashdaya has been lost to us ever since.
I find I must retract my earlier claim of historical knowledge. Nowhere in the Crystal Tower's archives did I see mention of such noble sacrifice.
That does not surprise me. To Allagan eyes, it must have seemed as if a lone dragon, driven to madness, simply dove through the gate and did not return. For my part, I spent long years searching for the means to reunite with Ashdaya. Until I could search no more. Until Alag was dust, and the arts to open a void gate large enough to accommodate a dragon forever lost.
Yet you have the beginnings of a gate right here, under the control of a harnessed device.
My discovery came before Radzat was founded. Though I scoured the lands for a method to cross the rift, it was beneath the sea that I chanced to find a natural planar fissure. It was, however, far too narrow to admit a worm's bulk. Only after our city rose upon the rock, and I could enlist the aid of our talented alchemists, did matters take a favorable turn. Their dedication was beyond reproach. Tirelessly they worked to expand the fissure, and after decades of toil, it finally grew to a size that a child might pass through.
Not long ago, you told us that you called out to your kin, that Ashdaya's answer was silence. I suspect the conclusion to your tale is not a joyful one.
With hope in my heart, I used the simulacrum to cross the threshold. But no, I did not find her. What I found was a host of voidsent, clamoring around the opening they had sensed. 'Twas but a moment, but enough. I had no choice but to retreat and allow the portal to contract once more.
The gate was a threat to your people. You had to decide between endangering Razathan and abandoning your sister. And you chose the latter.
'Twas not that thy sibling scorned thy call. 'Twas that she was trapped beyond a barrier through which neither roar nor dragon may pass. Even now, in the desolate world of the 13th.
I can scarce imagine your pain, yet it was wise not to linger in that place. Too long a sojourn, and even a being of your power risks being warped into a creature of the void. You've seen this phenomenon before, when we stepped into the darkness. Turned purple? Well, yes. His wounds had allowed the void's corruption to enter his body and twist his ether. Had it been allowed to progress much longer, I presume he would have been fully transformed.
Then there is little hope for Ashdaya.
Ah, no. I hadn't meant to. I speak only of possibilities. The scales of the First Brood are extraordinarily resistant to ethereal fluctuations. They are the protective talisman's core components after all, and even the corruption I described would struggle to overcome. Of course. With the warding scale in one's possession, one could conceivably survive a stay in the 13th without being warped by its energies.
Be that as it may, it is too late to rescue my sister. 5,000 years too late. And now countless others look to me for guidance and protection. So when I sensed intruders in the ruins, I came only to ensure that the gate remained closed. That, and to secure the treasure, of course. I wish only to forget the rest.
Thank you for your attendance. The riches the Radiant Host have retrieved were hoarded in Al-Zadal's name. A fortune I set aside for a future day of need. And lo, that day hath come. May it aid our wounded city in reclaiming its vibrancy and vigor. In better times, I would leave such a task to our capable Ahawan. God's rest his soul. Finding myself bereft of his counsel in the here and now, I will assume the responsibilities of mine office directly. Firstly, the treasure shall be sold for more convenient currency. Thence, invested into the trading port of Yedlamad. Our merchants must have their operations restored, their ships rebuilt. Commerce must flow once more. None were spared the tragedy of the final days. Of this I am well aware. But an absence was created by the loss of Karazal's consortium. And by filling it, we provide new means for our fishermen, our artisans, and others to bring their wares to distant markets.
And what of the children who were left without family to care for them?
That is a concern which weigheth heavily upon my mind. A simple gift of coin will soon be exhausted, leaving these young souls adrift on the fringes of our society. Nay, a proper solution is needed, one which doth guarantee their welfare for years to come. Thou hast surely seen how other nations rise to meet this challenge, adventurer. What dost thou deem the wisest course? I see. We create a reliable source of revenue. Let us put this idea into practice. A contract shall be written, requiring all who receive of Al-Zadal's treasure to commit a portion of their future earnings towards the running of an orphanage. Now, such an influential policy is deserving of a worthy name. A successful merchant. I believe I see thy reasoning. Karazal should be remembered, not as the blasphemy which terrorized Thavner, but as a hard-working and generous man who brought much wealth to our shores. Do any among you object to this proposition? Many here lost loved ones to the beasts.
In that time of strife, any one of us could have broken. Any one of us may have been taken by despair. When I think of Kalzal, I feel no hatred. Only a stinging regret that we could not save him as well. Isn't that right, men?
This bodes well for that boy. Murad, was it? Perhaps he can cut ties with that shady peddler.
Then let it be done. Henceforth, this initiative shall be known as the Kalzal Foundation. Nabdeen, thou art to assemble a patrol and ensure that no child in this city liveth in squalor. Clerks, see to the management of our funds and make haste. Our citizens must not suffer a day more than is necessary.
Dragon and man, side by side in pursuit of a brighter morrow. I'm reminded of Ishgard.
Right, here we all are.
You discovered something new.
I took a closer look at that device. I was able to determine how it keeps the Void Gate sealed, but not how it might instead be employed to expand the opening. For that, I would need to reference the technique developed by Vritra's alchemists, no records of which appear to have survived the intervening years.
We know this, so why have you sent for us? Have you learned aught of value or not?
Patience, good sir. One must introduce the subject before launching into specifics. From what we understand, travel between worlds is accomplished by passing through the nebulous rift which exists between them. Picture, if you will, the moment you were called to the first. You touched a focus of some kind to help the Exarch pinpoint your location. His summoning spell then channeled the energies of the Crystal Tower to begin your journey to his world. The magics tore a hole in the wall separating source and shard, and cast you into the intervening nothingness. In that place, the laws of nature hold no sway. Yet even through this realm of temporal and spatial instability, you were borne safely to your destination in the first. The feat that guided you across such an unimaginable distance, both physical and metaphorical, was nothing short of a miracle.
Then what of the many Voidsent found in the source? Who guides them here, and how?
An excellent question. though there are several methods by which the Void's denizens might intrude upon our world, the rituals of summoning are the most typical. For example, let us consider the Gargoyle, a creature of middling power. To call upon such an entity, the prospective summoner must force open a void gate. The portal lasts but a moment and is relatively small, allowing only an imp or other lesser being to squeeze through with their physical body intact. Our more powerful gargoyle, however, is too large for that. Creating a gate big enough for him would require vast amounts of energy, far beyond the reserves of any one mortal practitioner. Instead, 'tis far more common to bring over only the entity's soul. We had a taste of that ourselves when a certain exarch dragged us to the First. And just as our bodies remained in our world, the Void Sense physical form is left behind in the 13th. Once at its destination, the summoned soul is granted a temporary shell to inhabit. In the gargoyle's case, a stone effigy has proven a suitable vessel.
Wait. You said that Voidsent must be called here deliberately by someone in the source, reeled in like a fisherman with his catch.
Exactly. For a being to navigate the chaos of the rift, with or without form, there must needs be a guiding agent on the other side.
When the hordes poured forth from Alag's Great Gate, it was the technologists who drew them through. Though to my knowledge, planar fissures are in essence natural passages between our world and the void, which require no such guidance to traverse. Why is only the boundary between the source and the 13th so fragile? So much so that it often tears open of its own accord.
I believe solving that mystery is key to understanding travel between the source and its reflections.
And how do you intend to get your answers?
No. The danger is too great.
Perhaps. But what some call danger, others think of as adventure.
Were you not listening to my tale? Never mind that the means to expand the gate has been lost to the ages. Even could you force the portal wide enough, you would be greeted by an army of murderous horrors the very instant you step through.
I assure you I was most attentive. And I agree that to go alone would be certain death. But if I were to bring along one who has already braved the 13th and humbled the cloud of darkness, well, I imagine my chances would be much improved. Since when were you one for the quiet life? Once again, I put my life in your ever-reliable hands. That said, as much as I would like to march straight back to the Void Gate, there is the small matter of being unable to open it without the Satrap's personal authority.
As I've said before, I will grant you and yours any boon you choose to name, provided it does not endanger my people.
You have my word that we will take every precaution. Not a single void scent will be allowed to threaten Radzatan, assuming we manage to expand the portal in the first place.
You have a plan?
Actually, I had hoped you might help us with that. I presume the alchemists you retained supplied you with some explanation of their methodology.
That they did. House Daymir was overseeing the project.
Daymir. Ah, yes. The family associated with the great work.
I did not fully comprehend the theory, but their research began with a void scent which had slipped through the fissure. After a thorough examination, they created an arcane simulacrum possessed of similar qualities. A man-made void scent, if you will. It was apparently indispensable in their efforts to enlarge the gate.
A man-made void scent?
Yes. Being great admirers of the Archons, House Daymir submitted detailed notes to Charlene's official committee. They expected praise and accolades for their simulacrum, and were thus devastated to be informed that their work had been classified as prohibited material.
If that's true, then those notes might still be stored in a forbidden archive somewhere. Not Google, of course, since that library had yet to be built. Which leaves us with... Indeed. Numenon's restricted stacks may very well hold a copy. In which case, I say we head directly to Charlene.
Unless you anticipate needing help to reach the high shelves, I see myself being of little use. Go on ahead. I still need to find Mirad and tell him about the Kalzal Foundation.
Let us be on our way as well.
They are resolved to venture into the void. Do I sit idly by?
House Damia's notes are to be found anywhere, it will be here. Let us begin. Yes, the ether signature is unmistakable. I've felt the traces of House Damia's resonance many times at the Great Work. Time to see what all the fuss was about. Among the ranks of the Voidsent, there exist entities with the power to call forth their brethren from beyond. The species known as Atomos, however, is uniquely prodigious in this regard. From its distended maw, it can expel an endless procession of void-born creatures, a talent which sorely tested the Radiant Host in its battles against these abominations. Surmising that the entity itself was acting as a void gate, we endeavored to capture a small specimen and subsequently examine its physiological structure. Our findings revealed that the Atomos had absorbed a planar fissure into its own flesh, which it could expand at will into a functioning gate. Upon further analysis, we identified an ethereal wave pattern emitted during this process. A pattern we were able to emulate by passing crystal-stored ether through a specially designed prism. We proceeded to embed said prism into an arcane simulacrum, thus completing what we have dubbed our artificial Atomos. How could I have been so blind to the possibilities? This species, not to mention its ability to summon Voidsent, has been discussed among academics for years now. Just before the advent of the 7th Umbral Calamity, we received reports of Atomos sightings from every corner of Eorzea. Surely you've at least heard the tales. And still, House Damia went and built a mock Atomos of their very own. I'm not surprised the Archons consigned their work to a restricted archive. It was no easy task, but at last we've unearthed the volume we've been searching for. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tempted to stay longer. See what other forbidden titles might be lurking on these shelves. Ah, but that would be abusing the very special privilege we've been granted now, wouldn't it? Better not.
The ruins alone were impressive enough, but I never dreamed such a treasure lay hidden in the depths of the bounty. It may have been helpful to know this device existed, Your Excellency.
My apologies. The gate was a secret I shared with none but my closest advisors. I feared for what might happen should those with ill intentions learn of its existence.
What is it you're doing now?
There's something I wish to verify. The NOAA reports claim that a short stint into the void carries little risk of etheric imbalance. Should one suffer an injury, however, or if one's expedition drags on longer than intended, that risk becomes significantly greater. Graha theorized that a warding scale would confer protection from the void's corrupting influence. But I would prefer to test that hypothesis before we set foot in the 13th ourselves.
So, this is an experiment of sorts?
Yes, an experiment. Tell me, how would you go about testing the efficacy of the warding scale? Very good. I see you've been paying attention. As Vritra sent his simulacrum, so too shall we rely on a familiar to bear the brunt of any unpleasant consequences. Now, a lowly imp can navigate a fissure, no matter how narrow. Which means an arcane entity of similar stature should be able to manage the same. I hadn't wanted it to come to this, but no other familiars will do, I'm afraid.
I mislike the sound of that. What manner of fiend does she mean to summon?
From ocean rise and cloudbank form. From mountain spring and rainfall storm. From river flow and life be born. Water, water, froth and foam!
Ready your arms. I fear she's been possessed.
Oh, come now. That was adorable.
Though not my first choice. These familiars I conceived of as a child have the best chance of fitting through the gate. I only wish my younger self had considered a more dignified ending to the creation ritual. In any case, these two should serve us well. This one will bear a warding scale. And when they return from the 13th, we can observe how the talisman, or absence thereof, has affected the progress of the Void's corruption. If I could impose upon you to open the gate. Your Excellency?
Ah, yes, of course.
We should also be wary of void scent slipping through while we conduct our experiment. Estinian, you are to keep Nidana safe from harm.
As you say.
You had best be on your guard as well. Oh, are you volunteering to join the Nixies? I could shrink you down, you know. Let us begin, shall we? Nixies, into the void. I think we've waited long enough. Nixies, return to my side. Thank you, little one. You did well.
Oh, the poor thing. Its essence has been irrevocably warped.
We're out of time. I must reseal the void gate.
They're coming through!
In the name of Alzadal III, I bar this door unto the void.
Well, that was a sharp lesson in the dangers of void gates.
And what of our experiment? I'd say the results speak for themselves.
The unprotected Nixie has suffered extensive etheric corruption. As Nidana observed, it's well on its way to becoming a void scent. The one merged with the talisman, however, appears unaffected. I sense no changes to its equilibrium. Rest now, little ones.
Graha's theory was correct then.
So it would seem. But while our second familiar was untouched by void energies, the talisman itself shows signs of degradation. It was, of course, originally designed to shield the soul from primal tempering. It stands to reason that etheric corruption of a different sort would affect it differently. We may need to modify the warding scale's design to account for the 13th's uniquely unstable ether.
You've said much of the Void's instability, but my imagination fails me. What manner of place is this broken world?
My apologies. I forget that not all of us spend our days sequestered in dusty archives. The 13th is a reflection of the source that was drowned in a flood of darkness. In Emmett Selk's own words, this tragedy was a result of the Ascians' attempts to force a rejoining. They erred in their haste, and made of that world a useless void. And what of your own experience? Will you tell us of what you observed during Noah's expedition? I can picture it now. The sunless, Stygian expanse, infested with legions of ether-starved monstrosities. A void in every sense of the word.
What you have described in such lurid detail is exactly why I hesitate to encourage you.
Worry not, great Vritra. Our journey into the 13th is but the first leg of a longer voyage. A voyage that shall lead us to other reflections, to new mysteries and discoveries. And I mean to be there every step of the way. But first I must focus on refining the warding talisman.
Then I can begin work on constructing an artificial Atomos. Or I could, if I had the relevant manuals to hand. Might I be so bold as to request access to the Satrap's family archives? Your Excellency?
Oh, yes. That can be arranged. I will speak to my officials upon our return.
We will see you back in the city then. Hey, Stola! The adjustments are going well, I hope?
'Tis a lengthy process, but the end is in sight, yes.
That's wonderful news. I myself had some good fortune searching through the Satrap's private records. What I found was a transaction log dated around the same period as when Alzadal's legacy was built. It included a purchase list of highly exclusive alchemical components. And I knew I'd discovered the key to making the artificial Atomos. I then visited the High Crucible to commission the materials. After I'd explained my requirements, I was beset by volunteers insisting I allow them to help with the entire project.
The usual reaction to someone forcing open a void gate is to run for the hills. Harnish academics certainly are a different breed.
The alchemists of old were cut from a similar cloth. The unknown held no fear for them. Indeed, they were ever eager to seek new knowledge, regardless of the danger.
And were you not also fearless, heedless even, in your determination?
My sire entered his dormancy before I was hatched. And so it was Ashdaya who kept my eggs safe and warm. It created a bond between us. Even long after I learned to fend for myself, I rarely strayed from her side. She was my guardian, my sister, my dear companion. And not a single day passes that I do not mourn her absence. No matter how deep the darkness, I would not surrender my search. I promised myself the time would come when we would once more take to the skies together. But I am satrap now.
The Radiant Host is here to serve, Your Excellency.
Nabdeen, what is this about?
Sir Estinian told us of your predicament. For centuries you have protected Rads at Han, never showing your true self, hiding behind a curtain and living only in service to the people. Your dedication meant more to us than your deceit, and so did we accept you as our rightful ruler. After all that you have sacrificed for this nation, did you imagine we would begrudge you your heart's desire?
We survived the final days. We are a strong and proud people. We, the Radiant Host, will keep Thavnair safe in your absence.
I am grateful for your loyalty and for your encouragement. And yet...
Now you listen to me, Varshan!
You are wearing that face, after all. As I have told you before, you are a little brother to us all. And if you are family, then so too is your sister. We are there for you if you need us. But do not ask us to sit by and watch while you abandon a sibling you have ached to rescue for millennia.
We will succeed in opening the way. It is only a matter of time. All you need do is prepare to step through to the other side.
Your Excellency, I wanted to thank you for building the orphanage. It means so much that my sister and I will have a place to be together, safe and happy. And I hope that you and your sister can be together again too.
You're saying I should seize this chance? Take heart and protect them well. Such were the words I once said to you, and here I stand failing to live up to them. If my heart is torn, I am fit to protect neither Ajdaya nor Radzatan. My people, I have come to a decision. Vashan will depart Thavne for a time. My dragon self will remain in the palace, but only to conduct the satrap's most essential duties. While I am focused on controlling this vessel, there may be matters that escape my attention. I rely on you, my trusted friends, to watch over one another until I return.
Take care, and fair fortune, little brother. Many tears would be shed should you come to harm.
I would not dare make you cry.
Be swallowed, bereft of senses.
My apologies for keeping you waiting.
Vritra, I presume.
Indeed, this vessel now serves as a host for my eye. I was aware that the alchemists were busy preparing something, but this...
We couldn't well send you on such a perilous mission unprepared, Your Excellency. We spared no effort in crafting the body, and I dare say you'll find it adept at wielding weapons and magics both. 'Twas our intent to present it to you sooner, but we could not bring ourselves to do so, knowing we could yet improve it further. Pray forgive us.
There is naught to forgive. I am grateful for this fine vessel, and shall put it to good use. Again, I ask that you watch over Radzatan in my absence. The dangers we go to face are great and many, and I fear I will be unable to give matters here due attention. And in opening the Void Gate, there is ever risk that Voidsent will find their way into our world.
Rest assured, we are more than prepared. Our soldiers have been training under Master Estinian. On my honor, we will not suffer a single fiend to pass. So, think only of your mission, Vashan. Ah, but seeing as this is a different body, perhaps we should use a different name.
Nay, Vashan shall suffice. Though I may have thus grown up, I am as ever a little brother to you all.
As you say, as you say. Go then, Vashan, and best of luck.
I have something for you as well. While you were gone, Urianger paid us a visit. As you may recall, he joined us on our foray into Alzadal's legacy, in part to conduct research for the Loporrits. Research they were delighted to receive, and which has already inspired them to consider new ways to improve their own treasure vault. As a token of their gratitude, Livingway entrusted a familiar relic to Urianger. Aye, the crystal, which showed the way to Meteon. The Loporrits no longer have need of it, and thus saw fit to return it to us. Harboring the power of light, it could well aid us in our mission in the Void. And who better to bear Hydaelyn's gift than her chosen champion?
If there is nothing left to discuss, then let us depart. Our boat awaits us in Akyali. I shall now lift the seal.
In the name of Al-Sadal III, I cast open this door unto the Void!
Go! Absorb the Void Gate! It worked. We should have no trouble passing through a gate of that size.
What can we expect to find after stepping through?
On my previous foray, I emerged in a castle swarming with Voidsent. I was hopelessly outnumbered and forced to turn back. But together, I am confident we can hold our own. Upon our arrival, let us deal with any hostile entities and secure the area. The command of our mission, I leave in your capable hands. In the event of battle, I shall adapt my tactics to complement your own.
Should we require healing, I can provide it. 'Twould be a welcome change of pace from my recent havoc-wreaking.
Take heart, my friends, and have faith. We will brave this broken world and rescue my sister Ajdaya.
So the gate did open again, and delivered the most mouth-watering morsels. I am Scarmilione, Archfiend of Earth and first of Golbez's Circle of Fall. Such pleasure I will take in delivering you unto your graves.
This Scarmilione, he knew the gate had opened.
And not for the first time. He and his brethren must keep watch over the portal.
As we do ours, but to unflinchingly consume a fellow Voidsent. Like men, perhaps they form factions and fight amongst themselves.
The question is, what will the minions do?
Your mistress is no more, and the one who consumed her we slew in turn. Do you still mean to try us?
I expect some Voidsent are more intelligent than others. Perhaps these ones simply do not understand our words.
Even beasts ought to understand strength.
There is much we do not know about Voidsent. If we are to survive their world, it would be wise to learn their ways. Sage advice, my friend. 'Tis reassuring to have one so experienced with us. I am here, sister. Finally here. And I will find you. I swear it.
You are the friend.
Xenos? The disgraced prince you yourself laid low?
I see it now. The bottomless darkness. The insatiable hunger. The aura was present when we faced him in Garlemald. When Xenos died, its connection to the source was severed. It was forced to return to the void.
Xenos. Yes, that was his name. And you are the friend, are you not?
Is that Heidelin's crystal?
But how? The light just now, of course. And thus I am returned.
What do you mean, returned? Who are you?
I was once bound to the man named Xenos. His avatar, until you killed him.
Avatar, as in the Void-sent servants of Reapers. In the name of his hunt, Xenos took up that traditional Garlean art. And through it, he forged a covenant with a being of the Void to lend him strength.
Covenant? A curse, more like. He stole my power. There was no equity in the arrangement. My very essence was altered, twisted into a tool to serve his desires.
Your previous appearance. This is your true form, then?
Perhaps, perhaps not. What does it matter?
Indeed, it doesn't. Regardless of your form, you are a void sent by nature. So answer me this. Are you our enemy too?
In this world, only a fool would attempt to devour a stronger being. And though it was as an avatar, I lost to you once, I have no desire to lose again.
Good enough for me.
Now, you will answer me a question. Xenos called you friend. That's what you are? A friend? So, you're not a friend. Then... what is it? What is a friend? This is where I belong. My home. This endless darkness you call the Void. There was once light here, and it shone its warmth upon creation. The lands were green and the seas were blue. Life flourished. Before the war, the Contra Memoria.
It must have been a terrible war indeed.
It shattered the balance, causing darkness to engulf the world. All life was transformed into monstrosities, void-sent. We are the natural order now.
As light begat sin-eaters, darkness begat void-sent.
The sun was driven from the sky as fleeting day yielded to endless night. In time, even land and sea lost their distinction. And though the spark of reason had died in us, driven by memory's shadow, we formed factions and carved out domains. This castle, for instance, its erstwhile lord must have abided in such a place once upon a time.
If I may, the darkness in you is too much for any man to harbour. To my eyes, you are indeed a void-sent. Yet your knowledge of the past and your demeanour mark you apart from your brethren. You are different, that much is plain. But in what way, I am unsure.
As you say, I am void-sent, but only in part. The darkness touched my mother when the war had only just begun, when I was still in the womb. As a child, I looked like any other, but darkness coursed through me, and I ceased to age when I'd become a woman grown. But that was then. And now, I may as well be one in full. I prey on the weak and serve the strong. I live to survive. Nothing more.
Forgive me. 'Twas not my intent to pry. I realize, too, that I've neglected to ask your name.
As we say mortal, you may call me void-sent.
That is liable to cause confusion. If you are not averse, we would address you by your true name.
Then call me what you will. I care not.
How about Zero?
Meaning nothing. A name as fitting as any.
No, not nothing, but rather a beginning. For it remains to be seen what you will become to us.
As I said, I care not. Zero, then. A name is a string of sounds. Its meaning has no bearing on my nature.
Well, Zero, while there is no end to the questions we could ask, it is only fair that we tell you our purpose in coming here. We are searching for a dragon. One who came to your world long ago.
A dragon?
Yes. Ajdaya is her name, and she is my sister. If you have any knowledge of her, I beg you share it with us. Did you say something?
No?
I thought I heard a voice as well. The keening of void scent, perhaps.
This place is as good as any. Let me have the ether now.
Very well.
My mark.
That fiend again? But we struck it down, watched it die.
Fools. Death doesn't exist in this world. And I am free to return whensoever I please.
Death doesn't exist. Of course, in the first, the power of light, of passivity, prevents life from emerging in the empty. But in the 13th, the power of darkness, of activity, prevents life from finding rest, even should soul be separated from flesh.
So unless one's essence is absorbed by another, it is possible to return again and again.
It is reminiscent of that creature's. Ah, my mouth waters at the memory.
What?
I must devour you too. Yes, I must. Ye drifting souls, by my power be reborn!
If it's another death they want, I say we give it to them.
If you could lend us a hand, we'd be much obliged.
That you would. But you already owe me a debt, and until you make good on it, I won't lift a finger. We'll speak after you've won. But know that if you lose, I'll help myself to your ether.
That a bothersome duty should deliver to me this lavish feast. Come, struggle with all your might. It will make you that much richer and tastier. win.
You never know until you try, and I'm always happy to experiment.
Zero! Is there no way to stop them from coming back?
There is, but I have no reason to share it with you.
You know, Zero, you do owe us for one thing. Your name. You'll have your promised ether, but we are owed compensation for your name.
A name for which I did not ask. But that I nevertheless did accept.
They've been crystallized.
Well now, that's quite the trick.
Satisfied?
Completely.
Come, my friends. With Zero's aid, we can defeat him.
What is this? What have you done?
Now that I think on it, you owe me a debt as well. You may have missed your mark, but I won't miss mine.
Fools! Do not think you have defeated me. I will return again and again! What? My flesh? Why won't it heal? What is the meaning of this? To seal ether in crystal. Memoria! But how? How can you have this power? Death has no place in this world. We are beyond it. And yet... Ah, Lord Golbez, you have sent me to my doom. Curse you and your wretched flattery, and this abominable fate.
You are welcome, seekers of might. I, Golbez, have called you four hither. I, who would see us triumph in the coming crusade. That I may entrust you with command of our armies.
Yes, but what of the crew's gift?
In exchange for our loyalty, we are to feast on the finest ether.
And so you shall, for if you are to serve me, you must be strong.
Then honor the pact, and pray we are not disappointed.
Very well. Behold.
The fiery wings, the savage horns. It pulses with life. Such vibrant ether. This magnificent creature could only come from beyond the veil.
Indeed. Feast, my friends. Feast, and arise as my four arch-fiends. As they are now, they can consume but a fraction of the dragon's ether. Just as well, the creature may yet serve other ends.
Are you all right?
The Void Sense essence remains. But it has been sealed away, transformed into crystal.
Memoria. Scarmilione called them. I take it they are connected to the war of which you spoke.
Aye. Their use was central to the Contra Memoria, hence its name. And to my knowledge, the transformation is permanent.
I see. We thank you for coming to our aid.
I repaid a debt, and in doing so ensured that I received my own due compensation, which I shall have now.
Yes, yes. I still have work to do, so I would thank you not to get carried away.
Ether is the coin of choice. I appreciate the simplicity.
That makes us even, I trust. Right then. When you picked up the crystal, you experienced a vision, did you not?
A dragon resembling a great worm. I dare to hope that it was Ashdaya. Even as it pains me to think she's been made to suffer.
For the ambitions of this Golbez.
We've been given much to consider. Let us take a moment to review what we know.
There it is. Good. It agrees to serve. Get on.
What is this place?
My domain. In the beginning, it was a sanctuary for me alone. But over time, others began to gather here. Those who had nowhere else to go.
A settlement of pariahs?
What's that?
Mortals! They're mortals! What did they sleep in?
Let me have some, let me have some!
Not fair.
You are under my protection here and will not be harmed. I give you my word. Follow me.
Not only did the mortals conquer Troya, they defeated Scarmalione. I struggle to believe it. They're very small, my lords. They were aided by one of our world, who transformed Scarmalione's soul into crystal. Crystal? This one speaks of Memoria. Now there's something I've not heard for an age. It'll bring a pang of nostalgia to my breast and a tear to my eye. If the very notion wasn't absurd! Drifting our gold, drowned in darkness, as were we all.
And yet Scarmalione still does not answer. Were he alive, he would have returned by now. Weakest though he was, his ability to regenerate was without peer. If this account is true, if a Memoriat has survived, they cannot be suffered to live.
Leave this matter to me, Lord Golbez. I, Barbaricia, shall strike down any who pose a threat to our plans.
'Tis true, you are a proven commander, well suited to leading an assault.
And when I have succeeded, I would beg a boon of you.
What do you desire?
The dragon's ether. All that remains.
The insolence! No more delays.
With respect, my locks are free as the wind, without incentive to sway them. I know not whither they will blow.
Boldly spoken. I trust you will not disappoint me.
Upon this flowing hair and my immortal soul, I will not fail.
Then go and impress upon these interlopers the futility of defiance.
My lord.
Amaricia! She has come!
And she's brought her domain with her. The Archfiend's after you and yours, I shouldn't doubt. Perhaps you should go and find them. But be warned, whatever this is about, do not expect us to get involved.
I can't bear it! Eating and being eaten! I only want to be left in peace!
You and me both.
One of the Archfiends approaches.
They must have been tracking our movements.
She's here.
Excellent. You've saved me the trouble of traveling to Troya.
So you're Barbaricia.
Mind your manners, mortal. My name is not to be spoken, save in reverence and fear. And what is this pitiful domain? Pitiful wretches all. I will put you out of your misery. Alas, poor Scarmiglione, and good riddance. Felled by outsiders in pursuit of what? Pray tell.
A dragon. One who crossed to this world thousands of years ago. Know you aught of it?
A dragon, you say? My Lord Golbez is more clever than I realized. To let the prize live, that it might lure more prey to us. Very well. In gratitude and service, I shall devour every last mote of their souls.
Where is she? Where is Ashdaya?
Huh. You even share its scent. How curious. And irresistible.
If you think us easy prey, you're wrong.
Unlike Scarmiglione, I need not skulk in shadow to claim what is mine. If you would know about the dragon you seek, then enter into my domain. You may flee instead if you wish, if the fate of the sorry lot here is of no concern to you. One way or another, I will have satisfaction.
What's the plan, then? Aye, that we would. Even so, we don't have any intention of turning tail now, do we? We find her and get our answers. Will you be joining us, Zero?
You may be easily goaded into accepting her challenge, but my curiosity is not so insatiable as to cloud my judgment. Nevertheless, if you are desperate for my aid, you know my price.
I shall pay it. So long as you leave me strength enough to see my sister home, you may take as much as you wish. And lest you forget, mine is no ordinary ether. Barbaricia too recognized its potency.
Very well. We have a bargain.
You're not the only ones who can ride the wind!
Leave these ones to us.
I see to Barbaricia.
Come, give yourselves to my scouring winds that I may feast upon your essence. No! I will not be denied! There's still time. With more of the dragon's ether, I can yet... You're finished. Damn it all!
I see you've bested Barbaricia. Well done.
Her minions too are all crystallized or scattered. The day is ours.
What of my sister? Tell me you learned something about Ashdaya. So the Archfiend and her crystal yielded not.
Our efforts have not been entirely fruitless. We have deprived your sister's captor of another powerful champion. With Zero, we may yet challenge Golbez and his minions.
Indeed. We could not have come this far without your aid. Thank you, Zero.
I but fulfilled my part of the bargain. And now I will have my
Her ether is nearly spent. Perhaps unsurprising given how much power she used.
I wouldn't want to face another Archfiend without her. We should hurry back to Zero's domain.
Agreed. Eager though I am to continue, it would be unwise to risk our lives for the sake of haste. Let us suspend the mission and tend to Zero.
You're all safe. Thank the sisters.
A moment while I close the gate. There. We may rest easy for now. Was there any trouble? I expect some void scent slipped through.
A few did, aye. But we were ready and dealt with them without incident.
That is well. I cannot thank you enough for your vigilance.
Yes, you're grateful. But aren't you forgetting something more important? You know, the polite but warm formalities one delights in hearing when their little brother returns from a long journey.
Indeed, you are right. It is good to be home again, among those who I love dearly and missed so much.
And we are glad to receive you, Vashan. Welcome home.
Chambers have been prepared for your use at Megaduta. Let us take Zero there at once. Our mission took many an unexpected turn. I am relieved that we have all returned safely. But before you all enjoy the rest you have earned 12 times over, I would consult you on one last matter.
Zero.
While she appears none the worse for wear, she remains locked in slumber, and I cannot help but worry. Is there aught we can do to expedite her recovery? If her ether is exhausted, perhaps I can share some of mine now.
In the wastelands of the 13th, one can only replenish ether by taking it from others. be it by trade or by force. In contrast, the source is rich in ambient ether. Simply being here and drawing breath, Zero will absorb what she needs.
Then we need but wait?
I believe so. She will awaken in time, and when she does, give her something to eat. Judging by her form, she should also be able to derive nourishment from food. I know you promised her your ether, but perhaps she might appreciate fine harnish cuisine more.
Food can certainly be arranged.
She looks like any other person. Unsurprising, perhaps, given that she is only part void-sent.
Zero said before that Xenos had altered her essence. A change wrought, I suspect, with the power of darkness. It acted upon the part of her that is void-sent, rendering it dominant. Thus we were able to reverse it with the power of light. I labour to believe that Xenos possessed such arcane knowledge. In all likelihood, it came from Thandaniel. Were Zero wholly void-sent, I doubt the crystal would have had an effect on her. One might say that Hydaelyn had a hand in your meeting.
It is no exaggeration to say that Zero has proven herself invaluable. A boon from Hydaelyn herself. Her cooperation may come at a price, but whatever it is, I am willing to pay it. Exhausting though it may be at times.
Light. Is this an inn? What happened? How did I get here? There's no time. I must rejoin the battle. I must...
Oh, you're awake! Wonderful! Ah! Ah!
What is this? Some sort of fiend?
A fiend? Where is it? Where? But this is no time for jokes. You're in the source, my dear. The world next door. So to speak. The others brought you here after you collapsed. I'll fetch them at once. Wait, just a moment.
I took the liberty of arranging refreshments. I hope you find them as flavorful as they are invigorating.
This isn't what you promised. I suppose ether is ether.
Wait. Don't tell me you don't know how to eat?
I took what I needed from it. What's the problem?
Where's the enjoyment in that? You're supposed to bite, to chew, to savor, and then swallow. That's the way. So, did it taste good?
I don't know.
The long years without eating may have dulled your sense of taste.
Well, we Voidsent have no need for such when consuming others. There are some who speak of taste when describing the quality and affinity of their prey's ether. But I loathe the act. Taking ether in small amounts like this is one thing, but diluting my essence, diminishing myself, I'd sooner die. And I have died, countless times.
You have? But what happens when you do?
Not much. After a while, you return, together with all your expended life force. The important thing is to die where others won't devour you.
Amazing! My peers who study immortality and resurrection would be most interested in this phenomenon.
The question of taste aside, I am glad that you are able to partake of food like us. I dare say it agrees with your personal preferences.
That's true. You can keep giving me the same on a regular basis.
Very well. As my guest, I shall see that you do not want for comfort. And one other thing. We brought you to our world without your consent, and for that, I apologize. If you wish it, we will return you to yours once you have regained your strength.
It's fine. I have no reason to go back. Except for yours, perhaps. You intend to cross over again, I take it.
I do. I have yet to find my sister. I want nothing more than to rush to her aid, to find this Golbez and free her from his clutches, if he still holds her captive.
Though if our recent experience has taught us anything, 'tis that the 13th is more dangerous than we ever imagined. Caution must be our watchword.
Better late than never. In the short time you spent in our world, you left a trail of chaos in your wake. You managed to return in one piece this time, but don't assume you'll be so lucky the next.
Rest assured, we will make no assumptions and spare no preparation. Speaking of which, while we rest and ready ourselves, I ask that you tell me more about your home. In return, I will tell you about ours. I will show you my domain, Radzet-Han.
Again, a stranger in this strange land. I have a condition. You must come too.
You have my thanks. So, what are your impressions of Radzatan?
There's a lot of mortals.
Considering your origin, I can see why that might be your first observation. Though they would call each other people, I think. If you wish to know about our fair city, I should be glad to place a guide at your disposal.
No need. I'll show myself around. There's only so much about my home I can share with you in return, after all. While I remember some few tales of the past, I cannot speak to their authenticity. But if that is enough, then I will tell you of the events that saw darkness engulf our world. The Contra Memoria.
We are all ears. Please.
Long ago, light filled the world and all was at peace. But then the servants of darkness came, and they bequeathed a black art unto men. Channeling the power of hope and prayer, one could call forth fearsome beings known as Eidolons.
The Ascians. And these Eidolons are surely primals.
Then you have faced the same, and understand that when an Eidolon is birthed, strife follows. And in such strife, the weak are the first to suffer. When it seemed the world would be plunged into chaos, heroes appeared. They who were blessed with a singular power. The power to bind the ether of Eidolons within crystals known as Memoria. My mother was one such Memoriate. But in fighting to save many, she herself was touched by darkness. As was I.
And so you were born part Voidsent, before the world was overcome.
How exactly did that calamity come to pass? Did the Memoriates not triumph?
They did. They expunged the seeds of chaos and restored the peace, only to find themselves seduced by the darkness they had sealed. They spread the taint, transforming men into monsters, what you call Voidsent, and raised armies to wage new wars.
Not the first to be corrupted by power, nor the last.
Some defied temptation and held fast to the light. My mother and I among them. For years and years we fought, but it was not enough. And when our strength was spent, Our bulwarks broken. So too was the world.
The flood of darkness.
The stars faded from the heavens as a pall black as pitch enveloped creation. Darkness raged unchecked, rending the very walls of reality. I was cast into the rift, and there trapped for what felt like an eternity. Until I came upon a crack. Tiny, infinitesimal, but enough for me to squeeze through. And find my world changed beyond recognition, into the lightless waste you saw.
So that is how you were able to escape becoming a Voidsent in full.
I suppose I should consider myself fortunate. Were I like most others, I wouldn't have lasted a day before being devoured. We, the lost, are better equipped to survive in a lost world.
A lost world, you say? I wouldn't be so sure. The 13th is still there, is it not?
What are you getting at?
To explain requires that we initiate you into the truth of the source and its reflections. Be warned that this will take a while.
Then, unlike the worlds that have been rejoined, mine still...
The Oracle of Light prevented the first from being completely overcome. So the situation may not be completely identical to that of your 13th. But the fact remains that we were able to restore a measure of balance to a world brought to the brink of destruction. Which gives me cause to hope there may be a way to restore light and life to the 13th. Of course, these are only possibilities. I offer no guarantees. But having experienced what we have, I dare say we are more qualified than most to speak on the matter.
Wait, I don't understand. Why would you say these things? As if you mean to... But the sole reason you came to the Void was...
To find a dragon, aye. And in light of what we've seen, we'd be fools to strive for more. But we Scions, former Scions, begging your pardon, have a habit of not leaving well enough alone. And old habits die hard, don't they, my friend?
Restoring the light would serve our efforts to find and free Ashdaya. There is no reason not to try.
Do as you will. I have no desire to save that world.
Be that as it may, we will have need of your power when next we face Voidsent.
You know how it works. If you want my help, you must pay my price. And now that you've drawn Golbez's attention, it's going to cost you more. A lot more. I will consider this a deposit.
First Scarmiglione, and now Barbaricia. Useless, the both of them.
It was no lie. They conspire with a Memoriad.
And their search for the dragon will lead them here. The war looms nigh. We cannot allow these interlopers to interfere.
If I may, my lord, I have a plan to eliminate them. In order to guarantee its success, however, I will require Cagnazzo's cooperation. Now there's sport to be had, then I'll play along. As much as I dislike following your lead, I have no patience for screaming.
Well and good to have confidence, but do not forget the cost of failure.
Rest assured, I will see the dream to fruition. Even should I be consumed by my own flames, I will pave the way for one and all.
Then I will trust in your oath and your plan.
We will give you cause to rejoice, my lord. This I vow. Ha! Some excitement for a change.
No sacrifice is too great. Even should my 4 archfiends be lost, I will not halt my steps. The prison of passivity is an obstacle to my cause, and so you must fall. What irony that the blessed damned should set us free. As I swore so long ago. The gate lies open. At long last, my ambition shall be fulfilled!
Everyone is so carefree. Unafraid and unconcerned in spite of their weakness, and how easily their lives could be torn apart in an instant. Such luxuries are lost to us. We have no hopes or dreams, and even the release of death. Only hunger. Others are a means to an end, at times a literal one. We forge covenants with men and come here to feed, or to die. I thought it would be no different when I was summoned by Xenos. Lives were tools to him, to be used and discarded at whim. In that respect, he was a void-sent at heart. But towards you, and you alone, he behaved differently. And I cannot fathom why. What was it that drove him? What made him choose such an end? But enough about that man. He is dead and we are all better for it. Why are you here? Was there something you needed? So you're heading back now. Then as per our bargain, I will go as well.
Everyone is here? Good. Let us set forth for the void once more.
What is it? He's calling.
What is the meaning of this?
Unless I'm mistaken, that was intended for one of your kin. Who?
It was for the briefest of moments, but I felt her. Ashdire.
I thought she was in the void.
As did I. Yet the presence was unmistakable. Thus did I call out, only for it to fade and vanish.
Perhaps she crossed over to the source, then immediately turned back.
I do not know. Could she have found a way home?
The how of it aside, if she was indeed in the source, there may be clues where she came through that could lead us back to her. Where exactly was it that you felt her presence?
Far to the north. That was all I could discern.
The north, you say? Beyond the bounty? Garlemald?
As good a place to start as any. My apologies, Zero, but your return to the void will have to wait.
I told you before that I have no reason to go back there. Do as you will.
All right. I presume you wish to stay here in Radzatan until we return?
You've kept me amply fed. I wouldn't be averse to helping you on your search.
If Ashdaya was indeed here, other Voidsent may have made the journey as well. Very well. We would welcome your company.
If it's decided, then I'll contact our associates in Garlemald. It's me. Still talking everyone's ears off, I trust? Understood. We'll see you there. We're to rendezvous at Tertium. We'll need to teleport to make it there in time. Can you?
Aye. I know it well from my time as an avatar.
Then it seems we're all set.
If there is nothing else, let us see to our final preparations.
Any moment now.
My friends, 'tis good to see you again.
And you. I was worried that the cold wouldn't agree with you, but you're both looking quite well.
You get used to it. It helps that there's no shortage of fuel and heaters like before.
Glad to hear it. Have you been working in Garlemald all this time?
We have. Though the worst is behind them, the people still have a long road ahead. With the nation in ruins and the leadership void yet to be filled, there remains a lack of direction, a pervasive sense of aimlessness and worry.
Still, everyone wants to make things better. And we're here to help. A lot of Garleans wanted nothing to do with us, but they're starting to come round. Slowly, but surely.
You're too kind. But it's thanks to the cooperation of like-minded souls that we've been able to make any progress. The Allied nations continue to send supplies, which allow us to meet basic needs such as food and shelter. Meanwhile, Euless and a number of soldiers have begun a restoration initiative, with more and more volunteers joining by the day.
Like Alphino said, they've got a long road ahead of them. But we'll get there together, one step at a time. But enough about events here. What brings you to us? And with new company besides?
This may take rather a long time to explain, but bear with me.
The 13th? After traveling to the edge of existence, I thought you'd keep your escapades closer to home for a while. But I suppose there's no stopping you. Not that I'm one to talk, of course.
The heart of an adventurer cannot be denied.
You could have at least invited me, too. Surely there was room enough for me and Grahar in the Undersea Vault. I know. I only meant to tease. Mostly. But on a more serious note, are we sure it's wise to keep Xenos' former avatar around? I understand how you came to work together, but nevertheless...
You're right to be cautious. I'm a Void Sent, after all. But do not conflate me with Xenos. To recall my time in his service, it angers me.
Is that so? I think we'll get along just fine, you and I.
Now that we are all caught up, to the matter at hand. As we were about to resume our search in the void, I felt the presence of my sister Ajdaya in the source. Somewhere in the far north, perhaps even here in Galdemald. If you have seen or heard anything out of the ordinary, I must know.
As a matter of fact, we may have. In recent days, we have had to contend with a surprising number of Voidsent. And not the lesser kind that occasionally manifest, but ones possessed of considerable power.
You think they might have been summoned? By whom?
We're not sure. But as Euless reminded us, practitioners of a certain traditional Garlean art rely upon Void-sent servants. While there are no known Reapers left in Garlemald, we can't rule out the possibility that some are working in secret.
To summon not one, but several powerful Voidsent is no small feat. But if Ajdaya was indeed called from the Void...
Then it is likely the same party is responsible. Alternatively, the etheric confluence at the Tower of Babel may have triggered an expansion of natural fissures one could use to cross over. But I think that improbable, if not impossible.
And we must assume these events have indeed been orchestrated.
Well, summoned or no, we've been trying to track them to their origin. It's the mountains to the east, we think.
Can you guide us there?
I would, but the terrain is too difficult to traverse on foot. Nor is flying an option due to the winds.
Too much ground to cover in any case. Is there no way to narrow it down?
There is one place we thought to look first. An isolated village rumored to have once been home to a Reaper order.
That would indeed make an excellent start, though the question of how to get there remains.
Euless may be of assistance. Let us return to Camp Broken Glass and consult him.
What was it you wished to talk about?
Why do you help these people? What is it that you stand to gain?
I'm sorry?
You don't act on behalf of a higher power, nor are you bound by a contract. In spite of this, you help them. Why?
And there I thought it was something serious. I help them because I want to. Because it's the right thing to do.
But what do you stand to gain? You didn't answer the question.
Didn't I? I followed my heart. What I got out of it came after. Was there anything else? If not, let's keep moving.
Right. To act not out of obligation or in pursuit of gain. To simply live. And they survive like this.
All finished, are we? Good. The cold doesn't let up out here, does it? They've the means to keep everyone warm at Camp Broken Glass and Tertium. But the measures are still only temporary. Subsisting on charity. Dreading the day the sympathy of others is exhausted. It's no way to live. They need lasting safety and security. Though things will never be as they once were. If we can restore a modicum of normalcy to their lives, maybe that will be enough for them to move forward. If we're to achieve that, we have to work harder. I have to work harder. Oh, come now. You think I don't know my own limits? Still, I appreciate your concern. Well, our work here is done. We should be heading back. I hope Alphano and Zero haven't gotten into any trouble. I cannot imagine how awful it must have been to serve as Xenos' avatar. To not only suffer him, but so much else. She's a fighter, all right. Like you and me.
Thank you, miss. Thank you. This feels strangely familiar.
Excuse me, Alphino. My wife, she's come down with a high fever. Do you think you could take a look at her?
Of course. Give me a moment. Zero, may I leave the rest here to you?
Fine by me.
Thank you again for your help. Zero, was it? I take it you're one of Alphino's comrades?
Comrade? We've entered into a cooperative pact, if that's what you mean.
Pact? No, nothing so formal. What I mean, you must know each other well. Be on good terms, enjoy each other's company, that sort of thing.
Then no, he's not my comrade. I have none. Nor will I ever, I think.
Oh.
Did I say something odd?
No, not at all. On the contrary, it makes sense. When Alphino and the contingent first arrived, we rejected them out of hand. Whatever they may have claimed, they were the enemy. Savages with their savage ways. To accept their help was to admit defeat. But no matter how poorly we treated them, they didn't turn their backs on us. They stayed and listened. That's just the kind of people they are. Makes sense they'd get along with someone like you who tries to push others away.
Get along? I'm upholding my part of the bargain. There's nothing more to it than that.
If you say so. Ah, I'd nearly forgotten why I came. Are you hungry? We all get rations, and considering the work you're doing, you're as good as one of us.
I am running low on ether. Very well.
Azim steppe-style dumplings. Buds, they call them. Never had a dumpling? It's like the kind of bread stuffed with a filling, meat or vegetables usually, that you bake or steam. We have our own recipes in Garlemald too. My mother liked to make them. My brother and sister always fought over the jam-filled ones. Just think of it as bread, all right? I should warn you though, they're spicy. Helps them keep longer, I assume. Too much for the children to handle though.
Interesting.
Interesting good, or interesting...
I don't know much about taste. Not anymore. But I do feel a sensation in my mouth.
Is that a bad thing?
Not necessarily.
That's enough for me. I've heard it said that spices are more akin to fire than flavors. Perhaps that makes them easier to understand.
Oh, Eulus, getting acquainted with Zero, are we?
I suppose I am.
No harm in that. Acquaint away.
Ah, everyone is here. Excellent. Thank you all for your hard work. I've just finished up myself. Shall we go and find Estinian?
Alphino! Alize!
Report. Lost contact. When? Void sent. I'd bet my life on it. Understood. I'll investigate at once. A unit transporting supplies has gone silent en route to Broken Glass. I will go and search for it. Stay here and keep watch. But be ready to answer my call.
If it was Void sent, you'd be a fool to go alone. They'll find you before you find your men, and then they'll devour you as well.
Perhaps you're right. Perhaps I don't stand a chance, but I can't just abandon them.
I can't repay you for the bread if you're dead. I'll go.
What? No! I couldn't possibly ask you to do that.
I'm far better suited to dealing with Voidsent. It makes sense. Or do you mean to say you'd rather I stay here because you can't protect this place on your own?
Fine. Just don't do anything stupid. Promise me.
Damn these demons!
Return to the camp. Now.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Kindred, why do you interfere? Ah, of course. You sold your soul to feed.
I have taken bread, but my soul is forever mine. How big must the gate be for their light to come through? Is this it then? Just like that time. When light still shone upon the world. When the Contra Memoria still raged.
Stand aside if you value your life.
We're only after women and wine. Darkness can take the rest.
You're not taking another step towards that village.
Stupid girl. You were warned.
And now we can get back to our business.
Get up, damn you! Too weak. I need help. Someone. Please. The same mistakes. The same ends. Again and again. What should I? What could I have done? What? Who? You. What are you doing here?
Y'shtola and Estinian had matters well in hand, so we went where we were needed.
Can you stand?
All right. I will let it burn. This fire in my breast. Let it burn and rage and guide.